welcome to this match of Legacy. This is Lewis Valenti here with your boy
Patrick Taylor.
Paddy Taylor. This match here we've got Warren Hawkins on Miracles playing Rhody Nealon on Eldrazi Stompy. Both players kept an opening hand of 7. Paddy, who do you like in the matchup?
Well, they're both big brain decks, but clearly you need 6 trillion IQ to pilot an Eldrazi Stompy deck. But I'm pretty sure in this matchup the Eldrazi deck's just fully favoured because they just get Cabinet Souls and it's pretty much game from there. But I don't know how Warren's going to deal with it. So
Warren starts off with Island Ponder, which is pretty much the best opening play you can make. We see he's found, I think, what looked like a Volcanic Island and a Force of Will. I think he put Force of Will on the top, probably hoping to stop a turn 1 Chalice. Rhody starts with an Eldrazi Temple and throws back.
He does have the Engineered Explosives from the look of it in his hand.
And 3 Force of Will from what we saw there.
So that's probably going to help with the Mimics.
Yeah, true. So Skulling Tile throws it back. Rhody draws an Ancient Tomb. Drops down another Eldrazi Temple. I think we might see a Matter Reshaper.
That needs to get forced. Yeah,
okay, it does.
Counterbalance.
So you like forcing the Matter Reshaper there?
I get that he can swords it, but
it doesn't look like he has the removal in hand anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cracks the Fetch goes down to 17. That's his. So 2 fetches and a force. So Rhody's hand, from what I can see, it looks like
Ancient Tomb, Reality Smasher, another Temple.
Is that a Wastes?
I think that might be a Smasher. Can't really see it from this angle.
Alright, so Warren fetches again and throws out a back to basics.
That's very strong.
That's a very strong play. Of course, a lot of these Miracles decks now are playing that main.
And blue-white decks.
And blue-white decks in general, yeah. I have Ugin that comes down, which of course helps with stuff like Mimics and Endless Ones, but it doesn't really do much to help his Temples. Arid Mesa from Warren. And I suppose at this point Warren can really just play the draw-go style control, because he's not really dependent on too much. He plays a Snapcaster, he's going to flash back that Ponder.
I would have kept the Snapcaster for the Force.
Yeah, okay, Pat. So looks like what he's got in hand, Warren's just left with an Engineered Explosive and a Force of Will. Didn't see what he drew there.
But he's not under any pressure at all.
He's not.
That back to basics is back-breaking.
Ancient Tomb there. And the thing is that Rhody's in this really uncomfortable position now where any land that he taps is pretty much in one use. I don't think... What does Eldrazi play in the main that they can use to actually get rid of back to basics? Do they play anything?
When I played the deck, because this was the first big deck that came into the format, I was playing Eldrazi trying Modern, and I decided to put a Karn in the deck. Yeah. Don't think they're playing Karn still. So
even if they would, Rhody's so far off it.
Plus he's got multiple access to just soft counters and forces.
Yeah.
I think the game is pretty much over because...
Well, he's just dropped a Mentor there, so that's... Yeah, that's... I don't know how Rhody comes back from this. I don't think he does, frankly.
No.
Looking at his hand kind of sadly. There's a Reality Smasher there. I mean, he could cast that Reality Smasher now, but...
He doesn't have the... Oh, okay, so he has all his dust. Maybe that's what he's saving up for.
Right. Here. Again, the problem is, though, that Warren is so far ahead now, he just has access to the counter magic, so whatever answer Rhody does find, even if he does manage to play it, if Warren has any sort of counter magic to it, it's just turned off all his lands again and leaves him in a worse position. I actually don't really see how Rhody gets out of this one.
No, if it was mad, just go straight to the sideboarding.
Yeah.
Save time.
And especially because it's just Mentor's going to get insurmountable here in a second.
How do you feel about accumulated knowledge?
Look, I'll be honest, I didn't like it at first. The Miracles build that I was playing for a long time was the Portent Predict version, the one that sort of came about right after... Or so it was sort of the first big one that came about after the top end. And I played that for a long time, and then when the Accumulated Knowledge build came out, I was very resistant to
he's just running a Chalice, it's very important. It's late in the game.
It is, but I think it's probably too little too late at this point. But yeah, Accumulated Knowledge, I switched to it probably a month or 2 ago.
And that's just going to get forced.
That's going to get forced again.
And that's the game.
And Rhody picks up. But yeah, Accumulated Knowledge has been doing really good work, and yeah, I'm a convert, I suppose you could say.
I think really having triple force into back to basics is I don't think you can ask for much better hands. I don't know if I would have kept that in a blind though.
Yeah, unless these players know what each other are playing, I don't know. But yeah, going in blind 3/4 is really iffy because obviously, I mean, one thing that keeps coming up time and time again when players who aren't familiar with Legacy get introduced to Legacy is they think Force of Will is this amazing card, but in reality, it's not a very good card.
It's straight card disadvantage. You get rid of 2 cards to counter 1.
It's just that safety valve, really.
In sideboarding, what are you looking to pull out because you play Miracles?
Miracles. If I'm a Miracles player in this matchup, probably take out 1 or 2 Force of Will. I mean, Force of Will really is. It's good in a lot of situations, but realistically, it's there to stop combo. I mean, it can act as a counterspell in general, but that's sort of the primary use. I'd take 1 or 2 Force of Will out. Probably take out Counterbalance. Eldrazi plays a lot of big creatures that I really don't have a lot of cards that match up well with. And also, they've got Cavern of Souls. So
that's true.
It doesn't really do that much. Bringing in Disenchants probably come in.
Just for the chalices.
For the chalices. What else have I got there? Warren's got. Looked like he had a Council's Judgment and he was taking. Oh, he's probably bringing that in. That's what he was taking out. Was the other stuff. Look, Disenchants are probably the main one. Any other form of land hate, I suppose, if you're running any of that. But Disenchants are the big one. Supreme Verdict is probably another one. The Uncounterable Cause isn't all that relevant in this matchup, but it's just another board wipe that obviously doesn't target, so you get around a lot of the sticky stuff with Reality Smasher. I think that's probably it.
On the Eldrazi side, he's probably bringing in 3 Thorny Amethyst just to make spells harder to cast. Can't just get 3 Force of Wills. I'd bring in 2 Warping Wells just to get ramp or to counter Return. And there's maybe room for a Sorcerer's Spyglass, just to name Jace.
Yeah. It did look like Rhody had the front of his deck showing when he was sliding in his sideboard cards, and it did look like there was a Thorn of Amethyst at the front. So he picked that well.
Some lists also run Ratchet Bomb. That could be relevant against the Mentor tokens.
Yep.
Just shuffle it up.
So it'll be interesting to see, because, look, much like you, I kind of go into this matchup, going in blind, not knowing the players, not knowing the deck lists. I would think that Eldrazi is the slightly favoured matchup, the slightly favoured deck.
I mean, just the ability to go turn 1, Ivy, and drop 4 Mimics, for instance, and then next turn play a Thought on it, swing for 18. That's pretty strong.
So we'll see here, players pulling out their opening 7.
I believe Rhody will be on the play.
He should be, yes.
Oh, he had. Okay, so they've
a Calm Sign of Urza.
Yeah.
I can also see a Wasteland, what looks like an Ivugan, an Endless one.
2 Endless ones.
2 Endless ones, whereas Warren's got Flooded Strand, 2 Accumulated Knowledge, looks like a Swords to Plowshares.
Force of Will or Counterbalance?
Force of Will or Counterbalance. Looks like a Counterbalance. I thought he took both of them out, and a Terminus. So Ivugan into Endless one, that's a free 2/2. Passes the turn, Warren draws. Drew a Swords to Plowshares by the looks of it.
Oh, that might be a Counterbalance, sorry, not a Force.
Right. It's the dual deck. Well.
The best art, in my opinion.
Island Preordained.
It already does have a Cavern in hand, so that Matter Reshaper is probably going to come down next time.
He went top draw. Passes back to Rhody, who drew another Ivugan. Swinging for 2. Cavern, naming Eldrazi, presumably.
He could have named Goblin.
He could have named Goblin, but
It's an option.
It is an option. I don't think so, though. And you're right, Mana Reshaper comes down. Warren looks at his hand, realises there's nothing doing here. Untaps, draws.
Matter Reshaper is not as bad for Miracles because they can just swords it and it doesn't get the dice claws.
Yeah. It's also, Terminus is really nice. So Warren plays a Flooded Strand, passes the turn, because he does have that Swords to Plowshares in hand. Rhody just drew that.
Yeah.
So into 5, he's going to fetch out here, and I'm guessing we're going to see a Swords to Plowshares on probably the mana reshaper you'd think.
More than one.
See, this is where the matchup is swinging more in Eldrazi's favour. They can get out a lot of aggression early, and that Cavern of Souls just makes counter magic really bad. And especially because Warren has a counter spell in hand, it sort of becomes a lot worse now.
He also has 0 ways, to my knowledge, of getting rid of the Cavern.
That is correct. Yeah, I mean he can back to basics it and force it to just stay tapped. Thought not see it comes down here. 3 accumulated knowledge, swords to plowshares, terminus, and counterspell. I mean, I think if you're Rhody here, you just take the swords.
Yeah.
100%. And hope he doesn't find the brainstorm effect.
Would you have waited until end step to swords the matter show, just in case there was a thought?
Look, there's an argument to be made for it. I think he probably thought that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably, but you could have waited. Whether he was just trying to sort of stem the tide of damage.
I mean, if Rhody can bluff that he does have a thought here, and then he end up doesn't. He doesn't have it. He does get 3 points.
Yep.
Free.
So Warren played a flooded strain. Main phase accumulated knowledge, drew a card, flooded strain, passed the turn. Rhody's swinging in for 6 with the thought not see it, an endless one. Don't know what he drew there.
This game looks pretty rough for Warren.
Very rough, yeah. I think that the delay in untapping there, he's sort of thinking about his options.
I mean, worst case scenario, he can just use Judge Grabs and DCO being this idiot.
See, now fetching a Tundra here is interesting because obviously the back to basics is really, really strong in this matchup versus Rhody. But the fact that Warren has fetched a Tundra indicates that he's probably not going for that. Council's judgment.
I'm probably wrong in saying this, but I'd still fetch the planes.
Yeah, that's probably fair, although Warren's probably looking at it from the point of view that if he fetches the basic planes, he doesn't then have access to counterspell.
That's true. At this point, though, it's not very relevant with the...
It's not. I think Warren really needs to find a way to get that terminus on top, or draw a terminus, or whatever other board wipes he's got. The matter reshaper comes down here.
Rhody does have what looks like an All is Dust.
Okay.
So, any threat that Warren does deploy...
Okay, so he's got a...
What?
Hold on, didn't he cast that off the...
He cast that off the counter.
That's actually uncounterable.
Alright, ignore my comment earlier about Warren being a judge, because clearly no one knows the rules.
I guess his Tundra wasted. I don't think it really matters too much. I think Warren's sort of in the hole here.
Alright, let's see what this one goes.
So what we found there? It looks like another Ponder.
Jace, and a white card.
Is that Mentor?
Maybe a Mentor.
Doesn't look like he likes what he sees. Obviously, he's looking for another land here. Or maybe another Swords to Plowshares. Obviously, only having access to one blue source is a little wonky.
Then again, Forces are that strong, you can get through a cabin naming up.
There you go, Spies over. Spies away and passes the turn back.
So now you can go get another plane.
You can go get another plane, yeah.
I'm guessing another Force on this cabin.
Reality Smasher, and that's... Unless Warren's got something in his hand that he can use to stop that, that'll be game 2.
If he does have the sword, yeah. I was just going to say, if he has the swords, he can discard and then just take 2.
We had plenty of stuff to discard there, so that wasn't really an issue. But yeah, so Rhody picks up game 2, and we are going to game 3 here. And see when you think about the Miracles vs Eldrazi matchup, that game there is more what I expect to see most of the time. Early aggression, Cavern of Souls, most of the time stopping counter magic.
Unless it's a force ball.
So, Warren here looking to his deck. Now, interesting to note, Warren is playing the red splash. We saw 2 Pyroblast and a red elemental blast there. In addition to a Containment Priest. Of course, none of those cards really being useful in this matchup. Rhody there took out a Mimic.
I'd probably lean more towards Caracas.
Yeah, Caracas doesn't really do much in this matchup. A lot of Miracles lists will play a Vendilion click in the side, but that's primarily for combo matchups. course not relevant here.
I'll bring in the name of it. 3-1 flyer on your end step? No.
So I don't think Warren actually made any change there. I think he just ran back when he had game 2.
I think he was just re-evaluating.
Yeah. And like I said, after game 1, there isn't a whole lot, aside from the disenchants, and if you've got any extra wrath effects, I don't think there's a whole lot you want to bring in.
Probably a new deck, in my opinion.
That's just rude, man. It's just rude. It's a fine deck. You lost to it last time.
I've lost to
just
a
about
lot
everything
of
in the
so
format.
It's not that hard. Me losing a match at like Rainer Shot, not winning a Pro Tour.
Yeah, cutting here. Going to be Warren on the play this time.
Interesting choice of sleeve they've got there. They've got Grey and Shrek.
100. Okay, so Warren's opening hand. It looks like a counter spell.
Oh, double Singing Spirit Guide Cavern. Where can we go from this? And an Embryo.
Embryo, okay.
And then Warren's hand.
Warren has accumulated knowledge. Looks like a flooded strand, counter spell. He's going to ship it back.
He had a V-clip.
He looked on top, saw an Arid Maces. I'm not sure if he was holding. Didn't look like he had a 1-mana cantrip, so I don't know whether he was holding off looking for that or an extra land. He found an Arid Mason on top, but he decided to throw that back. So Rhody, it looks like Cavern of Souls, Ancient Tomb, Endbringer, 2 Simian Spirit Guides.
Iron, and he's
also sending it back. Okay. I suppose he had none of the cheaper Eldrazi to sort of get him off the ground early.
Just on the topic of mulligans, if the London Mulligan does come into effect, how do you think these matchups end up?
I mean, it's very matchup dependent, obviously. In this particular matchup, I think it probably doesn't affect. It doesn't affect it as much as it would if you were playing a lot of combo matchups. Obviously, Eldrazi, I think, mulligans more aggressively to Chalice because an unchecked Chalice on 1.
It's just a big brain mulligan.
More or less, yeah, it is a big brain mulligan. But then conversely, Miracles, if they know they're against Eldrazi, may aggressively mulligan down to a force to stop the Chalice. So, who knows? So it looks like Mimic, Ancient Tomb. Didn't get it.
I think that might be a
whiteboard
workshop.
Okay.
Not the
Factory.
Yeah, factory, not a workshop. Not losing this format.
2 Ancient Tombs though. Island Path. Mimic. Okay. Turn 1. So Warren.
It'd be really helpful if these players played their hand up.
Yeah, I mean, if they played open hand, it would be a lot easier. I think he had a brainstorm at the front of his hand and then drew Council's Judgment, so Flooded Strand comes down. He's also got a Tundra in hand, so he's set on lands for at least the next turn.
Council's Judgment is going to be important for the Chalice, and that was a factory.
What's a factory? What on?
I mean, it's whiteboarded,
so... Reshaper comes down. I don't think Warren has any counter magic, but he's going to brainstorm to see what he can find. It's like a Ponder and... Ponder, Volcanic Island, and can't tell what that is in the middle. Supreme Verdict. Okay, so he did bring in the Verdict. Good to know.
It's the buy box art.
Yeah. And that's actually really good at the moment because he's got a Tundra in hand. He found the Volcanic Island, which is currently face down there. So he will have the mana to cast the Verdict.
He's probably not leaning towards the Verdict, as if the mana tree does resolve, it's going to be negative.
It will be negative for him, but I suppose it depends on what comes down after the mana reshape, because at some
he
point...
could hit an All of Dust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's an endless one there. See, so for the thing for me is when I get into these sort of...
Oh, and he has swords.
Okay, swords.
In response to the...
That's interesting, because he put the Volcanic Island and something else on top. Now that's been shuffled away now, because he's cracked the Flooded Strand. He drew there another Brainstorm. Tundra comes down.
Back to basics. Yeah, it is.
Back to basics. Okay, wow. And that's
Another
just a perfect time for that to come down. A big brain play, as you would say.
I mean, he's playing blue-white.
Yeah.
Clearly the smartest man in the room. And a
Drew
Jace.
a Jace there. He doesn't really have much going on at the moment. I think he's going to brainstorm here, try to find another land.
It's a couple of years off dust now.
Yeah.
I think he found another one.
Counterspell, and I can't see if that was another land at the back.
If he has not done a fetch, he just breaks it. So, what a rookie.
He does have a ponder in hand, so he can shuffle next turn. Taking another 3 from the Mana Reshaper.
I mean, you could always just get better. That's an option.
Draw better cards.
Exactly.
Is what I've heard is a good strategy.
So this is probably going to be a Thornus here from Rhody.
Yeah.
And this is more than likely going to result.
So we've got Preordained, Jace, Verdict, and Ponder. And him saying, I mean, you think he's going to take the Verdict here, which is a...
I'm leaning more towards the Ponder, as he doesn't have enough lands to cast.
Actually, that's true.
Verdict or Jace at this point.
Well, the only thing is you've got... I mean, he's got some redundancy in the cantrip package because you take the Ponder, he's got the Preordained.
Ponder does allow a shuffle, which is important.
True, but he knows what the 2 cards are on top, which he can bottom. But yeah, you're right, he took the Ponder. Nice guy. Preordained there. So it looks like a counterspell and...
Snapcast.
He's kept both on top, which is interesting, seeing as he doesn't have another land. I would think that he'd be at the point where he's just looking for land here, but of course he's got no... Rhody's really out of mana.
Just playing fast and loose.
Yeah. Well, I suppose he's got Lands of Terminus. That makes a lot more sense. So he is going to get the draw because...
And that clearly takes care of the matter shape.
And this really, if Warren can find a land here, the game is just really swung back in the other direction because Rhody has now got no land to play with.
Right,
he finds the land. So I think the advantage bar is swung firmly back in Warren's favour after that. Stabilised at 6 life.
Here comes a challenge.
He can't play a challenge.
I guess you could say with that Thomas, it truly was a miracle.
It was a miracle. It was a miracle. It saved his day.
Original comedy.
Is that an herbal?
It looks like it.
Okay.
Warren might be able to piggyback off this. And then just lock himself out of the Arid Mantle. Unsplit.
Sorry. Right.
Probably for the swords.
Okay, so herbal comes down.
I think Rhody might try to get a chalice on one.
He certainly could do. If Warren finds a... Well, yeah, obviously he can't fetch a basic island off the Arid Mantle. Depends what he goes for here, because he does have a counterspell in hand.
With Blue White being very prominent in Legacy at the moment, and Back to Basics being very strong, do you think more decks are going to start playing Basics, ones that didn't in the past?
I mean, that was always the thing that land hate was strong because, you know, the Grixis Delver decks, even before the Deathrite ban, played I mean, a lot of them played exclusively dual lands.
Then again, they could get away with doing that with Death.
They could, exactly right. Now, a lot more decks are forced to play some number of basics because the land hate is just so prevalent. And it shows up in just about every flavour of blue-white deck, whether it's Miracle, Stoneblade, the blue-white Delver decks that are coming around.
And that's a Jace.
That's a Jace with a Mentor on board. This is quickly slipping out of Rhody's grasp. I think when you're building any deck, you need to give consideration, unless you're a super fast combo deck that's looking to win turn 1 or 2. If you're looking to go any sort of mid or long game, you really need to give consideration to the amount of basics that you've got. Because as you can see here, as soon as Back to Basics comes down, it's just about a non-game.
You have to get pretty lucky that either you just draw gas or your opponent
exactly
starts
right.
flooding out.
And it's one of those cards, being 3 mana, it just naturally flows in. So with a lot of these control decks, you can hold up something like a Spell Pierce or a Counterspell turn 2, force them to tap their non-basics, then untap, drop it Back to Basics, and you set them back a couple of turns.
I think Rhody is looking to either Thornus here this turn or play the Chalice. I lean heavily to playing the Chalice.
The Chalice, I think, gives you your best chance of outs. The problem is at the moment he's got a Mentor, so Warren can just run 1 mana spells into the Mentor and still trigger the prowess. And he has a Counterspell and Force of Will in hand, and he's leaving...
You don't know if you take Priest.
I don't think so. It's a Terminus. You don't want to bring Tamer Priest in against Eldrazi. The only thing that it really can hit is the flip off a Mana Reshaper.
Yeah, that's true. So Warren's hand looks pretty stacked at the moment.
It's super stacked. He's got 5 untapped mana. He's got a Jace that's brainstorming every turn, and he's got a mentor on board. This is similar to game 1. I don't really see how Rhody comes back from this.
A Meteor comes straight through the GDC on it and kills Warren on the spot. That's my plan.
That's pretty much the only play I think that works here. Rhody doing the old 2-card shuffle, going, what do I do with this hand? What is that at the front there? Oh, it's a chalice, okay. There you go, he has gone... Oh, it's a V-click, okay. So his hand is actually stacked. Like, really stacked.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he does have 8 cards in hand. Judge.
Was that...
He's V-clicked the Thought Zero away.
Yeah, right. But he's still looking at... he's looking down the face of 3 Reality Smasher, 3 Endless One, and another...
But it's not that bad as he's got the back-to-basics locking down the Soul Lands.
Oof. The City of Traders is the City of Traders is...
So the smart play Rhody can probably play here is Chalice on 1 off the City of Traders, and then play the other City of Traders, which he's probably going to do.
Looks like that's what he's going to do. Yep.
I think Warren's probably going to be fine with this.
The interesting thing here is that Rhody could play the second City of Traders, drop a Reality Smasher.
Oh yeah, because you can tap the Herbal.
He can tap the Herbal.
No,
wait, no, that's still full. That's still full. Never mind.
He could just cheat.
He could cheat. I mean, this isn't live, so we can't call it judgment. I mean, we can try.
They still had a live match where someone was a judge and a force still...
What are you doing, Jared?
No, Wade Warren's a judge. So he's having the City of Traders.
I mean, end this one here?
You can't custom them, you could have Charles from one. Does that not work?
No. On the stack would be CMC2.
You're right.
Yeah. In hand, it's 0. On the stack, it's whatever the X cost is. It's going to get forced anyway. Which of course spits out another token. Rhody now has pretty much no land.
Okay,
that doesn't actually work.
No.
Okay, so
Ellis wanted to challenge. Alright, boys.
Playing a bit fast and loose here.
So either they've given up or Warren just realised he's won the game.
Yeah. I mean, this Endless One is realistically just on blocking duty.
I mean, it doesn't do anything because the mental tokens are insane.
There you go, and it's getting swords then.
That doesn't work. Maybe? Does Rhody let that happen?
No, he did. Warren actually pointed at the chalice, and he's just
unloading.
He's throwing 1 mana spells. There you go, bounces it with Jace, and there we go. That's the match. So a little bit sketchy there on some of the interactions, but
you mean it's just called blatant cheating?
Well, cheating implies intent, and I'm not going to go so far as to say that these guys knew what they were doing was wrong. I think they just got caught up in the heat of the moment.
He's playing Eldrazi. He's an attention bad person.
There you go, Warren, pulling out that back to basics, pointing at it, and probably saying something to the effect of, "Yeah, no, this ruins your day."
Insanely strong.
So there we go. That was a match between Warren Hawkins and Rhody Nealon. Miracles versus Eldrazi. Miracles coming out 2-1. And interestingly, we can see what they've sideboarded here. We weren't discussing it before. So Click and Verdict came in. I'm sure if he brought that back to basics in, whether he had one in the side.
Did he bring the corrupts in? Please tell me he did.
So 4 Thorns. All 4. Khan. 2 Click came in from Warren.